Hey May, how's it going?
Good. How are you? Happy New Year.
Yeah, happy New Year. I haven't talked to you in a while, actually,
I
from
know.
with a camera perspective.
Yes, it's nice to be back, but I am going to remove something that's been dangling, and I know somebody complained about it because it
Oh,
hits my
your
table,
bracelet? Yeah.
my bracelet. Eating a
Well, we're
eating a
learning
fig
in
bar.
this process.
Um, There's
Yeah, so
Matt.
first disclaimer. Hey, so welcome back, everybody. This is 2023. This is our first live stream for the year. And first disclaimer is that we're all recovering from being sick. So it's like listening to people in the infirmary. So we're going to be coughing and hacking, and Matt sounds like he smokes cigarettes. So he went and got some
5 packs
candy.
a day.
Mm,
But so if we go on mute or you hear some hacking, please just just be grateful we're here because a couple
yeah,
of weeks
bear with
ago we
us.
weren't.
I'm happy I'm here.
Anyway,
I made it.
Mm,
awesome. So for those of you on Facebook, we don't see your name unless there's something you have to click in the comments or something. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but you have to toggle something and give approval to StreamYard, and it'll show your name. So if we don't see your name, we'll don't be offended. We can't see it all, but we can see some of the comments. Like I can see Jason's here, so welcome this morning, Jason.
Um,
Oh,
I can see Sarah Little saying good morning, loungers.
okay, perfect.
Can you see
So,
that?
all right. So listen, we wanted to get you guys together this morning and talk about before the year got too far in the first quarter to talk about business planning and how you kind of need to look at your business last year, how you did in 2022, and really kind of do a retrospective on how you think you did, and also celebrate your wins, right? We want to remember those, but also kind of dig into some of your losses and some things you did that maybe you say, I don't really want to do that again, or I should do something different. And so we're just going to have a discussion this morning about that a little bit. I'm going to kind of show some things that are more business related, and then we're going to jump over into some examples of our own, and then we're going to open up the dialogue, and the three of us will kind of chat about our own experiences here. So that being said, I want to share something real quick. In the Laser Lounge Facebook group, I did drop a file this morning, and it has to do, it's a PDF file, and it's the same one you're seeing right here. And this is really what all good businesses should do. They should do strategic planning when you start, and you really want to do it for 2 to 5 years, right? It kind of sets your roadmap for where you want to go. And I dropped this example for you guys. My husband and I have a little consulting company that we do this. We do this in our day job at work. And so we did this for a couple of companies around Houston not too long ago. But this deck is a small, like 12-page, 14-page deck. It's easy for you to pick up and look at some of the fundamental things and say, okay, if someone was doing this for me, this is what they would be looking at. So out of the niceness of my heart, I'm giving y'all that deck. So you really want to talk about what are your vision and your goals for your company. You know, this gentleman here it's a martial arts organization, and he really was faith based. So he wanted to bring some of that into his company and that messaging and leadership of his walk. And so that was really drove his vision and goals. And you need to have that for yourself. You know, you need to have uh, for me, I like getting certain things out of my business and having that up front that helps you define where you want to take your company. This is the main page that I want you to look at, though, the overview of the process. I told you today that the three of us are going to talk about the SWOT analysis, and we talked a little bit about what that was. It's a piece of what strategic planning is. It's not the only thing you need to do. And it's really that number two piece, the assess. And so that's what we're going to dig into today. But I wanted to just talk a little bit about this slide deck because I gave it to y'all for free. You really need to prepare. You need to assess where you are currently. We're going to do it for this last year. Then you need to create your plan of what you're going to do. Then you need to communicate it. If you have employees, or for me, like if James and I and the kids are working together, we need to be intentional about what we're going to do differently so everybody understands. So if you're like Lenny, who has a big employee set base, he would want to communicate that to his employees and say, you're going to see some changes coming, and these are the reasons why. Okay. And then implement it. You need to actually start with those action items and start knocking it out. And then number 6 is a really important piece that most people don't follow through with is the evaluation piece. So every quarter you should be looking and saying, hey, I said I was going to do my website in quarter 1. Did I do it? Yes, I did. Well, how is it going? Do I need to improve it? So you need to look at your own self and the performance of what you're doing and pivot if you need to. So I won't continue on this anymore. I just wanted to explain to y'all why I put it in the file section. It's there for you guys to use. It walks you through exactly what these things are. But we're going to talk about the assess part today. And I'm going to quit sharing the screen. So how does that sound, guys? Does that pretty sound kind of what you guys have been doing with your business, or have you just been doing one piece or what?
No, I've, right after Christmas, I've had a lot of downtime because I've been sick for close to a whole month, actually. And so all that time spent in quarantine away from my kids and just kind of like thinking through, just my thoughts and process from the last year, it kind of was a great eye opener. Last year, I want to kind of paint the picture and be relevant because I feel like some of us are in the same page. This is going to be what, Alisha, year 5 for us?
Yep, start of year 5.
And so I'm happy to be here. Sorry, my voice is a little shaky. I feel like there's a
It's
cough
because you're
about
so
to happen.
excited. You're so
We all
excited for
have.
this year is what's going on.
That's right. No, I feel like there's a cough about to happen. I'm trying to like contain myself from coughing. Um, But anyway, while I was, sick and trying to feel better, I was just looking at all the things. I like to look at it, taking a step back before I attack the 2023, looking at all the things that I said I wanted to do for 2022. I remember saying to myself, I want a better website and I want to really comb through the process and take time. So I took the first quarter of 2022 and I did a full transition to a whole new website, removed things that didn't speak, the brand, the things that I want to bring to the table in 2022. And then not only that, have a better checkout process, make sure my inventory is up to date across all platforms, making sure I'm engaging in social media. I need to do better. It gets so busy, day to day with everything. And so social media sometimes is taking a back seat, but in 2022, I feel like I'm better. I remember going in and thinking, okay, what are the big wins in the 2022? Before I start in the 2023 mindset, I want to celebrate those moments, bad moments, key moments that made you better as a maker, as a business owner. Like, what are those things? I think you need to, pat yourself in the back, even though they're small, attainable goals from last year. You need to take a look at it and say, oh my gosh, yes, I did that. And I did
Yeah.
finish 100 orders of tumblers or whatever. That's great. And so, what you're going to do for 2023, go back, re-celebrate those,
Yep.
and continue that relationship and expand. Because who knows, they might order other items from your store. And so that's kind of like my general concept when I'm looking at, what's my plan of attack for 2023. I want to be smart in
Yeah.
2020. I want, if you think about it, smart for me in my intentional moment right now, like you're saying, I want to be specific.
Yep.
M, I want to measure. A, I want to be attainable. R, I want to be relevant. And T, I want to be time sensitive. Time is everything for all of us. I know we're juggling so many things left and right. And so having those, you know, goals that you set yourself at the
Yeah.
start of the year, it's I think it's really helpful. You need to have a clear picture of what you want to achieve. Think
No,
about
you're very right about that, May. And that's really what you're talking about is what we wanted to talk with you guys today about. It's looking back on what you did last year. However, that method is for you. For me, I tried to break things out by quarter just because it was a little bit overwhelming. This is a little bit example how you could do that if you wanted. I threw the calendar out and I tried to go back and look at any notes that I had or some orders and just talked about what did I do from a strategic standpoint to change that quarter. And I just jotted down a few things that I did. For me, if you look here on the right, quarter one award season is very big
Mhm.
now because I do a lot with FFA and they're doing a lot of shows. So the same thing is happening right now. I've got so many awards that I have to do. So that was a big one for me. And so that tells me, do I want to be in the award business? Do I need to put more things in my portfolio for that? And so I really need to look at that. I also got my first fiber, right? And Meg and I got them at the same time. And to be honest with you, it sat there until the Lightburn version came out, right? So, but it's key to see that I bought a tool and I was trying to add to my shop. I also started the partnership with Thunder Laser USA, and that was good for me, right? It gave me more of a sponsor to help pay for some of the things like most people don't know, but the live stream costs like 600 a year, right? So it was able to allow me to bring things to you guys, and so that was a big win for me, not only monetarily but also from a mindset. And then the fourth one in quarter one of last year is I really pushed hard for Etsy. Most people are like, oh, Etsy's there, and they do take a big chunk. But if I looked at my revenue from last year, it was almost a little over $9,000 just in like 5 digital files. That's crazy, right? So if you're,
Those just digital
looking,
files?
yeah, yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
And so, yeah, so it's,
That's
you
passive
need to kind
income.
of, yeah. And I keep telling myself I need to get myself more focused in designing. Like May does all of her own designs. I need to spend time doing that and put them up on Etsy. The ones that I don't want people to use the same as me that I'm comfortable with. But my gosh, it just sits there. I sold 3 last night. So that was a strategic decision I made last in 2021 was to push more Etsy. As we got into the next quarter, I had a lot of personal things going on this last year building our house. I tried to go in and quit Chevron, and they are like, well, how about part time? So all of that impacted my side hustle. And you also need to think about that and take that into account. So when I look at, well, some of my year wasn't financially as good as the prior year, it's because I had a lot of personal stuff going on and lots of stress. And I would talk to May about this. And it's like, you just got so many things going on. Just get through those and then make some business decisions after some of that stress is away. The other big thing in the second quarter was I decided to go away from one of my business partners with Hustle and Burn. I used to, work with another person on that site and start this new one here, the Laser Lounge. There is a lot of upkeep and startup when you're starting a page and live streams, and I'm sure Alex well knows on that. And so do you too, because you guys are tremendous in helping me in the back. That alone, I had to put my own business a little bit on hold just to get that social media stuff going. But then one huge win comes with the Lightburn 1.2 coming out. May and I can still remember us going, okay, Lightburn's here, let's go. And that really, it's funny that you say, Lightburn. It really kind of was like a light. We all started using these machines that were just sitting there idle because of EasyCAD. It was kind of stunk. As I get into the third quarter, and y'all can kind of see what I'm talking about here. I'm just jotting down things that were happening, and then I will use this whenever I try to go do my plan for next year, but I'll continue on. So third quarter, I really was pushing this community here, building this up. And then you remember May and I talking about, hey, we've got to start preparing for the fourth quarter in the third quarter, right, May? I know you were doing a lot of designs for your ornaments and that kind of stuff. I was trying to do that, probably not as good as I should have. I still feel like I got my rear end kicked by ornaments, but I could have been better. Lots of time for me in that space of learning the fiber machine. I think it took my shop to a different level. I ended up getting another fiber. I got the Thunder Aurora, so I had 2 fibers in my shop, so I was able to learn. And we were actually doing lots of videos and live streams. for this community. So that took my kind of my business, my actual delivering product business away. And then as we got into the fourth quarter for me, um, it was kind of interesting. I did a couple of shows. I did one in October that was great, but then I received the UV. You two on the line, y'all got it at the same time I did. So we were exploring new tools, adding new things to our toolkit. And then I formed a partnership with Rotoboss Rotary Attachments, which is another big, great feather to have in my hat. And then guess what? Boom, I got sick. I got the flu. It knocked me out for 3 weeks. So that really hurt my revenue for my business because I missed 3 shows. So as you see, go down this list, you need to do this for yourself, and it helps you look at things. If I was going to be doing it differently next year, I wouldn't have put 3 shows together in 1 week in December. That was not very smart. So this is what you're wanting to get out of this exercise. It not only does it allow you to dump some wins and some losses, but you can make some different decisions. I should have done a show in October, probably November, and then maybe 2 in December. So that's how this exercise helped you. So I'll turn it over to kind of Mae and Matt, and y'all can share verbally kind of how your year went.
Hey, Matt, we want to get your input based on your, productivity and exciting things that happen in 2022. I know I've been watching you grow your business, so it's kind of
Trying to. Yeah. See, and I think I'm with Alisha here. Like I'm pretty much getting close to that point of like, do I stick with lasers full time or do I do my day job and still do this? So for me, the biggest thing that I think I worked on this year, like you said, is productivity. Getting machines that help me just crank stuff out. Because I feel like that's something like in my area, there's a lot of people who have the gantry machines back there. And I think getting the machines that'll help me crank out lots of pieces quickly is something that a lot of people around me don't have. And it
Yeah.
lets me work with people who are in different areas too. Like, so you can order something from me from another state. I'll be able to crank it out and get it to you faster than people who are closer to you. So that was my big thing. And I know the three of us had talked about that too this year was like adding machines. Like you've got the table behind you and my table's over here, so I got to clean up that space. The biggest thing too, like I know if you watch Laser Everything, which by the way, if you don't, on there, you can see Alex has thrown me a lot of props for making my workflow better. And that was one of my biggest strengths this year is getting my workflow. Like these tables that Alisha posted in the Facebook group the other day. I just went and bought another one. It's sitting over here that I just put together, and it just makes everything better because you've
Yep.
got storage, you've got vertical space that's just sitting there, you know.
Yeah.
So the fact that I can raise my workspace and get tools and different storage things, it's just been a big, big plus. And then, sorry, I sound like a cheese grater
Oh,
on my
you're
throat.
fine. Don't worry about it.
But the biggest thing for me too is like I still need to get some tools, and that's one of those things. I know
Yeah.
you mentioned Rotoboss, and for the UV, for me, there's like a couple of companies that are coming up. There's like a bar and a brewing company and a winery that all want glass. And so my big
Mm.
thing is the Rotoboss low roller. Like I messaged Jason a couple weeks ago saying, "Hey, I've got the next 2 weeks off. I'm going to be coming over there." So one day this week, I haven't figured it out with my wife yet, but I'm going to drive over to Jacksonville. It's like a whole day. It's 3 hours there, 3 hours back, but I can like go there and actually see some of the cool stuff he's working on and hopefully bring back one of those low rollers that'll fit under here and let me just crank out glassware.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
let me
so
know because
that's,
I need that too.
I
I
know.
know Jason and I had a chat just before the New Year's, and I know I've been pestering him about it. So he knows I need it.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
you guys have really, both of y'all have really done a lot of glassware, and I think that's where this new tool of us making a decision to like spend the money, add to your shop, the UV. You just can't get any better with glass unless you're full
Well,
blown sandblasting.
and it's like you said, it's because of Lightburn. Like honestly, this kind of
Yeah.
stuff with EasyCAD, having to take the time to learn a new program and all that, Lightburn's made this so accessible
yeah,
and it's made the
Yeah.
machine. So it's like, why wouldn't you try and go this route if you got the money or you've got the
yeah.
capability, you know? So that's been my biggest thing. Like my biggest strength has been getting my physical space ready. Hey, there you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So,
We got his attention.
yeah. So, but that's the thing. So, getting my physical space ready and getting my tools in order, because it is one of
Yeah.
those things where I've got to make the decision, because this quarter 4 about
Yeah.
killed me. Like, that's why I got this sick. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would be awake
Same.
from, and y'all know they'd be messaging at 2 o'clock in the morning, and they're like, "Why the hell are you awake? You have to go teach in like 3 hours." And I was like,
Yeah.
"I got stuff to make." So, just saying. That's
Yeah.
that's kind of been my year so far, is just productivity, workflow, and tools.
I
Yeah.
feel
That's
the
good.
same way. Like what Alicia is saying, I look at, after I've done my look back of what I've done the previous year, and then when I start really breaking it down, I also start by the quarter. I have it in categories, like what do I want to achieve in the first quarter. That way it's
Yeah.
easier. I feel like it's bite size. I
Yeah.
can I can, take it, kind of like let it, simmer, and then I digest it. And then what are the improvements that you can do as a maker to improve, your lifestyle too? You can't just like have everything set in stone, plan. This is what you're gonna do. You also need to carve out what will be better for you, emotionally, mentally as a maker. You need to also carve out a little bit of time for self-care. I feel like that's really important. Last
Yeah.
year, even though, I did carve up, a little bit of time off and things like that, I think towards the fourth quarter, I really needed it. Like Alicia was saying, she kind of planned a bunch of shows back to back. And I think moving forward for 2023, I don't want to kill myself. I really don't need to be in any of the shows. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm blessed in that regard. I feel like I've matured enough as a business owner, and I don't really need to be out there. I
No,
can use.
you and I talked about that a little bit, May, about how many shows do we, once you get a little bit of some years underneath your belt and you've got your name
No,
out there, you don't need to do this anymore unless
no.
you just really love it. But it's a pain doing a show.
Although,
I
I
have a thought
do
about that
love.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love being out there because locally, I feel like I know a lot more people just based on, my history and personal life and stuff like that. And so I do love getting out there, meeting new people, meeting new clients, meeting potential clients that
Networking.
will lead to your success for the following year. I do love that. I see it for 2023 as a marketing kind of like my community involvement. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
so I, I honestly don't see myself doing a lot of shows next year. And
So I've got a question for both of you then.
yeah,
Sure.
So, and I know Alicia's already got people who can like help her here. So my question is, one of my weaknesses, and I know we're getting into the SWOT thing at this point, but one of my weaknesses that I wrote down is that I'm a one-man shop. There's
Yeah.
so many projects that if I set it up on the fiber, all you do is press the damn button. Like once you've got it set up and you've done all the work. And
Yeah.
so I wonder for you guys, because that's the one thing I've not done yet is shows, because they're so time consuming with the kids and my wife and everything. That's a no-go. But like, would you guys ever be open to having someone run a show for you? Like you set it all up, make it look pretty, and then
um,
you,
I've
because
done
you,
that actually this year,
yeah,
not by choice, by accident. One of my biggest shows, and I think I didn't tell Alicia at the beginning. I think after I surpassed that major, I was like, it was a big letdown on the biggest show of the year. It's like my Super Bowl. I've worked on
right.
it for the whole year, and now it's game time on the very first day. After a few hours of my show, after meeting my goal in 2 hours, I've met my goal.
That's so badass.
So,
Bala.
I've paid for my 1 week show within 2 hours. So
That's
I'm
so cool.
thinking in my head, oh my gosh, I got this under the bag. I am like, let's go. Within a few hours, I got sick, like sick.
Oh,
I was vomiting. I know TMI. I'm not going to go into details. And then I spent a few hours behind the curtain Clients were coming in. I can hear them. Where's May? Where's May? Thankfully, I had a shop helper,
Oh,
and
poor
she
baby.
managed it. You know, from the start, I was like, you know what? I'm going to step back behind the curtain and you run this. And like, you know how to check out people. We have prices and stuff like that. And so I think that was a big eye opener for me. As much as I want to be part of it, because it's my brand, it's my name, it's me. They want to
Yeah,
see me.
absolutely.
And I can hear the clients coming in saying, "Hey, where's May? I want to talk to her." It's like, no, she's not feeling well, but she'll be back maybe tomorrow. And so my husband saw me in the back, like pale, like no light.
Dying.
It just looked like I looked like death. And he said, "I think you need to go home." And that was at 2:30 in the afternoon. By 3 o'clock, I went home and collapsed. I think it's because I've been preparing for it. I was running
Yeah.
myself ragged, and finally, somebody's looking out there for me and said, "I think you need to go home and take care of yourself." And
Yeah.
so I did. I collapsed. My shop helper did a great job, doubled what we made in the 2 hours while I was gone. And I was like, okay, why am I so worried?
Yeah. Yours happened
That's
by
great.
accident just because of what you were going through. But I have a girlfriend who has a clothing boutique, and she would hire people to go and run her booths. That was the whole thing. I don't know if she just paid a minimum wage or how she found them, but they would actually do that work for her just because it was too much. So big shows, she would
Yeah.
split it with them. I mean, stay there with her. But other shows would be in other states, and she would go and sit there
Oh,
and
wow.
do all that work.
Oh,
Yeah. So, it's I know people do it. I have not gotten my place where I'm willing to. I know that-
you're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, no. She froze.
She froze.
Am
The ranch
I
Wi-Fi.
back?
You're
Yeah,
back.
this is Starlink now, so we're playing with Starlink.
You fancy.
I know.
All right, so let's do this. So what I want to do today is I want to also now kind of walk over to the SWOT and kind of go over that a little bit. So let me bring that up.
I like this
Okay.
part.
Can y'all hear me? And then the communication is good?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay.
You sound great.
Okay, so yesterday I dropped in the Laser Lounge Facebook page some material to a SWOT analysis. I'm not affiliated with that site that I dropped. It was just good content, and I didn't want to recreate the wheel. There's also a video YouTube on what it is, but in your screen here, this is essentially it. And this is the part where you assess your business. And so what you would want to do is you want to have 4 categories. You can do this on a piece of paper, in an Excel file. This is just a pretty one right now. So you just want to walk around this wheel and start writing things out. So what are your strengths? If I was doing mine, I would say, I'm extroverted. I don't mind pushing myself. I like taking risks. And so I'm just going to keep doing that and writing those things down. Another one of my strengths is I have many tools in my toolbox. I've added new tools so I can do more things. My production is a little bit higher because I have 2 CO2s and a few other galvo machines. So I would continue to do that. Another strength of mine is I have a huge network base. I have a lot of people that I leverage that network, and I'm not shy about it. So you want to write those things down. You can also bring in some of your personality stuff into this, right? One of my other strengths is I'm a glass half full person. So I'm not shy and I'm willing to go try things. That's good to know as well. And then as we work our way around, we go to our weaknesses. Well, one of my weaknesses is I probably take on too much, right? I have a lot on my plate. Maybe I'm not at my workflow, as Matt was saying earlier. I could probably rearrange my shop here to be a little bit more throughput organized. I'm a little hunky junky in here. I need to clean it up. I've got too much going on. One of the weaknesses is that I do have a day job. That creeps over into how much I can get done. So you're going to note those things. Threats. Okay, let's just be honest. There are so many people in this space. We have how many people have lasers? So it's even though everyone likes to say it's flooded and there's enough work for everybody, you also have to be realistic and say how many people right around the corner are from you that have a machine. That is a threat. That means you need to have your game on and you need to elevate and be unique and do things differently. So those are the things you need to write down. Another threat is your time, right? Like how much time am I allowing to the business? So you want to walk through that conversation. Now let's look over into opportunities. Well, I'm fixing to get another machine and I have the UV. There's an opportunity for me to really expand my business into the glassware space, right? Just like Matt, you and Mae were both talking. Mae's doing a lot of work with the wholesale side with glassware. That's an opportunity that she has next year to really expand that more. So that's how you would start filling out a SWOT. Now, there's a couple things that I want you to remember when you're doing this. You can do it as your business owner for yourself, and you should. But I also think it's important for you to do with somebody who's close enough to your business to add that different feedback. That's where you really start getting some more critical discussion things that you need to change. For example, May, your husband sees a lot of what you're doing. Have this discussion with him. When James and I do this, we're typically sitting on the patio with a glass of wine or coffee, and we'll say, well, what was our weakness this year? We overcommitted too much. And he sees things that I don't necessarily see, right? Uh, you know, if you have employees, you should have them fill this out. I have another example here. I want to see if I can. Okay. This SWOT analysis here, when I was doing some consulting work, I interviewed some people at a company. She had 30 employees, and we went through. This was a like a family and crisis center, and we went through and did a SWOT analysis, and we interviewed. I think there were like 30 employees, and this is the data we got out of there. And each person had a different perspective, right? And it was nice to see that because the employees were giving different feedback, right? Like if we just look at this threats, volume of cases. So they were a little bit overworked and overloaded. Policy and protocols with partner agencies. You start seeing that, hey, what is the employee being impacted by, right? So if you have employees that work for you, and if it's even a small high school kid or a larger staff like Lenny has, do a SWOT analysis with them. Have them fill out this 4-piece element and let them give you feedback. So in a nutshell, that's what the SWOT analysis is. And then once you have this data, you'll start looking at it and going through it and saying, okay, I need to create action items off of it. If I'm looking at this one, let's see. Let me see if I can find a good one.
I got a quick question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
What are those little orange numbers? Is that the number of people who agree with it, or
yeah, these are the numbers for those employees, how the competitive process that came in. And so if you were looking at this one and they said 7 people, emphasis and yeah, there's a big issue happening there.
Okay.
Yeah. This is how we reported it out to the client. And then what we would do is we would look at this and say, we need to create some action items around this. Because you remember me showing you that other slide deck where I said, it's great to do a SWOT, but if you don't do anything off of it, then it's nothing.
Yeah,
you're just
the point.
Reviewing it. So what James and I did last year is we took our SWOT and then we reviewed them and said, okay, one of our weaknesses was I wasn't marketing in this area where I moved to with the ranch. So what are some actions out of that? And it was, okay, well, I'm going to go to the Big Easy, ranch and see if we can get in there. I'm going to go over here to this wedding venue. And some of it we followed through with and some of it we didn't. But those are you need to put actions based off your results that are coming out of your SWOT.
I like what Jason said here. I just kind of want to highlight this. He's saying, I'm going to highlight it. It says it is hard because of liability and material waste. I totally agree 100%. And this is going back to, introducing helpers, to kind of help you operate your business. And I agree with this. And, even though I wasn't trying to underestimate my helper at that time, I felt like she's done it enough with me that she's more than capable of running the whole show, even without me for a whole week.
Yeah.
The key is also finding a good balance of, okay, do you trust this person? This person is taking money.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? And it's hard. It's really hard because especially if people are paying cash or whatever, and also shop helpers that are actually using your expensive machines. There's training involved. What if they
Yeah.
burn something? And so definitely have those systems in place, and make sure that you have insurance. Make them sign liability forms. You know, I know Alex from Laser Everything has covered, you know.
Miranda is the legal department.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I feel like he's got a legal staff on retainer for everything. So I do like that. It's. I think it's great for your business because you'll just never know. You might there's some crazies out there, and
Yeah.
it just protects what you've created for the whole year. I kind of want to share
Yeah. Please
my
do.
my thing, and it's hard. I'm just gonna say it out loud. So for me, my strengths. I think I'm innovative. I'm creative. I need to do better and just maybe put out more. What do you call this? Just be better with graphic design in 2023. I just need to push myself a little harder. And then marketing, explore new ideas and fine tune standards that I've developed from last year and the years past, and just keep developing and fine tuning and find best practices. And then continue to explore merchandise development. I feel like to me, I see that as a big plus for my side, for my business, because I can think of a general idea and then I'm able to expand and create a collection out of it. I think it's because of my background as a corporate marketing person. My backstory, I was really great as a team member in creating a full look from internal and external, from your packaging, from your brand identity, logo, and all your collateral items. So I feel like to me, that is a big plus in my
Yeah.
business and how to grow. My weakness is retiring things that's not on brand. I just need to let go of some things that don't serve the brand. And so again, I will comb
Yeah.
through what I have offered in 2023, although I have cut half of it from 2021. And then 2022, there were some people asking for things, and I've learned to say no. And I don't want to say no. I'm the type of person, I'm a yes person because
Yeah.
want I don't want people to think that's my weakness because I know I can do it. But it doesn't mean if you can do it, does it really serve you?
Yeah,
Um,
and I don't want to throw you off your vibe here, but I want to poke on that a little bit. A lot of makers, myself included, are having that same problem of saying no to certain things, right? And so I'm thinking what I'm going to do to mitigate that. So my action plan around that is going to be finish my website, and that's unless it's something that brings sparkle and joy, I'm only doing those things. Like, and I don't know how well that works. Your website is pretty much on point, but a lot of it is still like, hey, I'm not going to take that order. But I'm thinking if I say this is the things that I'm offering now, you could pass them off to somebody else. I don't know how easy that is to actually do in practice. So I'll let you continue what you were with your weakness
well, I
pocket, but
think okay, here's what I'm thinking. I know we are surrounded by people upgrading to bigger lasers, people getting more tools in their shop, people that have more employees and things like that. And so take a look at your surroundings and what benefits you and your shop. If you think it doesn't benefit you, pass it on to someone.
yeah,
It doesn't mean that you're passing on to them because, oh my gosh, Matt could just do this. But if I know Matt can do it, not only serving my customer, because I know my customer will come back for me, but if this person is shipping to Florida, it just makes more sense. And if I'm looking at my production level where I am at, and when the inquiry is coming in, if I know Matt can handle it, I'm more than happy going to give it to Matt. I'm not seeing Matt as my competition. I'm seeing that as a leverage to help you as a business. Exactly. So I've reached out and I've given away business to other makers because I know they can deliver. Do I just give it out to somebody that doesn't know what they're doing? Of course not. I'm going to give it to somebody that I know that can deliver, because my if I'm referring somebody to Matt or to Alisha, I want to make sure they're doing a good job.
Right.
And so I'm a little bit mindful. I'm sending somebody to somebody. I just want to make sure Matt or Alisha can follow through, because that's also my name on the line. And then on top of that, my weakness, I remember last year, I just sat and I'm looking at my Instagram and all these other people that I'm following. And all of a sudden I had this fear of, oh my gosh, I'm missing out of all the pop-ups. Everybody's going to this market and to this market. And here I am, because I said in 2022, I'm only doing a handful. But at the first quarter hit, and I was paralyzed because I was really feeling FOMO because of other people are doing pop-up markets. And to me, that's a big weakness, because I do love it. I'm a social person. I love talking to people. I love being out there. I've got it down to a science, so I know I can rock it. But I had to remind myself, reel it back in, reel those emotions in, and remind myself, I don't need to be in all of them.
Yeah.
And then plan ahead. Sometimes I like to plan ahead, and sometimes I let things sit. And I know I did the first quarter last year, to be honest. And this is like a confession, a maker confession, if I say so myself. So at the start of the year, I told my husband, after we left for after Christmas, I said, let's go skiing. And we took all the kids and we had a great time. We come back. I'm thinking I'm going to be refreshed and, I don't know, energized for the whole year. Well, I was wrong, because I was still tired from the year before.
Yeah, whipped your butt.
Yeah, it took me 3 months to get back where I'm. Yeah, I need to get my groove back. And so I think this year, even though I'm feeling a little bit of that, last year I told my husband, I'm like, I think I'm broken. I can't design anything and I can't think of anything. But then I used that and turned it in a way, if I'm not functioning in that department, but I'm good at other things, let me refocus my energy in building my new website. And that's what I did. I just kind of cleaned house, spring cleaning kind of, and
that productivity makes you feel better.
Yeah, exactly. And so another thing that I'm weak about, I love donating. But this year, I'm going to put a cap on donations. I'm going to say no, not because I don't want to help. I'm going to look at it strategically and put a cap on it. I can't donate to everybody. I just can't help everybody. And so that will be my goal this year, because last year and the years past, I'm just giving stuff away.
That's a great topic, because I asked that question one time as a Facebook post, and someone said, well, you should never donate thinking you're going to get something in return. And I'm like, okay, I'm not sure that I necessarily believe that, because otherwise if I'm giving out a lot of product, yes, it's out of the goodness of my heart, but there's got to be some benefit both ways. Eventually. If I'm giving away $2,000 of product a year and I'm not getting any return out of it, then, I know there's some tax benefits to it, but you want to hope that you get some return business of someone saying, oh, I got a cool product. So I think if you go into the year,
all that stuff.
Yeah. I think if you go into the year and you say, I'm only going to donate, $1,500 worth of donations this year and
Yeah.
you earmark that, that's the way to go. Otherwise, it's almost like friends and family that rip you off.
Well, I think it's okay
Exactly
to
right.
say no. Like you said, have a tally sheet of where you are at the start of the year. And if you think you can add a few more donations, you can sprinkle it in,
Yeah.
quarter, maybe you just do one a quarter.
Yeah.
You can say, I remember when I worked in corporate marketing, we would look at our full years, by the quarter, and then we would say, do we have marketing dollars for
Yeah.
this quarter, and then for some reason, since we've been a little bit frugal up until the third quarter, the fourth quarter, we have enough money. And so that's when you take a look and say, okay, what can we spend our money on?
Yep.
And so
Yeah.
a lot of the people are donating more around the fourth quarter, and a lot more companies are, willing to spend the money on Christmas gifts. One more thing that I want to add as my form of weakness, I want to say, is I remember last year, even though I said, okay, I'm not going to do that job because it doesn't meet my house minimum number. What does that mean? For me to touch a job, I need it to be a certain amount. And there's been a few times because I've had some friends, close friends that love to order. And so I did it. And so can I avoid it this coming year? I don't know.
Just
But
curious, what is that minimum number? I need to do
uh,
that.
I think there should be a number for family and friends, and
Yeah.
then a number outside of that. And so I'm gonna
That way you're not making one keychain.
Yeah.
I had
Brand new
one
design for one
person.
keychain.
Yeah, I had one person after I closed my shop after the big 1 week show. This person sent me a message on my messenger on my website, said, "Hey, can I customize one keychain?" I'm like, "No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. My shop is closed." So I
And
think,
see, I think, that point too is where
That's
it
okay.
brings back in the network piece, right? Maybe there's some
Yep.
makers that are year two in that don't mind doing those kind of jobs. And if you have somebody, that you can pass them off to, that's where that network piece goes. What about threats and opportunities? Maybe you have
okay,
anything to
so
share?
opportunities, I feel like I have slightly a longer list and my threats are small because I feel like even though they're there, I
She's a
can like,
shark.
I
Yeah.
can so opportunities. I'm adding a new machine and I'm super excited. So I'm going to be adding a CO2 Galvo, and it's coming in a few weeks. I'm super excited. So I feel like, um, you know, I can run the CO2 with my eyes closed. Can I
Yeah.
run the fiber with ease? Yes, I can. Can I run the UV with like total confidence? Yes. So now I feel like I can tackle another tool to kind of like add to my product offering and to my shop, and I feel like adding this last tool, I don't know if it will be my last, but I feel like it will help me with production work. I know the UV did um, 10 times than I thought, it would. After opening it, after uncrating it and starting it, within 24 hours, I was up and running.
Yeah.
Was I cursing in the back, in that 24 hours? Yes, a lot. Did I throw some stuff, because I was frustrated? Yes. Did I waste a lot of materials? Yes, like 3 cases of glasses I wasted. And did I waste, resources and materials? Yes. Did I waste time, that I'm supposed to be spending with my family and friends? Yes, because I was determined to really fine tune what I wanted to do with my UV laser. And so I feel like that's
Yeah.
a huge win for me. I need to clean up and enhance my shopping experience on my website. I know there's a few glitches here and there that I need to fix. I think I'm blessed in that way. I understand how it works. I know how to build websites. I know how to build an e-commerce website. I know how it runs. I understand SEO. So I'm using those as a big opportunity for me to use it in my own shop. I need to boost my Fair business account more. I did that later in the year last year, and I'm seeing so many great things about it. And so if you're not on Fair, maybe you guys need to consider it. You need to obtain new clients. I don't know how you guys want to start that. Maybe, doing your marketing more, fine tuning that, maintain wholesale accounts, getting new ones this year. I've gained about 10 last year, and I want to gain maybe 20 more this year. We'll see. I need to explore more ideas, just kind of like really experiment with different materials and offering that for this year. Threats. I have 3 at the top of my head. I want to be different, seen different from my local competition. And I want to be different from Alisha. I want to be different from Matt. Do I see both of them as a threat? No, because I know I can use them. Do I see my local competitions as a threat? Maybe, but I know I'm capable of what I can offer. I am not threatened at all, just because I know, I'm powerful in that regard. There's still some times where I'm thinking, okay, do I need to worry about this? But then I have to take a step back, like Alisha was saying. Well, I think you're different. And so it's nice to have.
But I'm going to add on to this as someone who's close to you but sees an outside lens. You have threats because people are wanting to copy what you're producing. And what I've seen you do to mitigate that, which was your action plan, and you may not have noticed that you did this, is because so many people want to copy your designs because they're like so different. You're very intentional on when you drop those new products.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You don't give people time to copy.
Well, I did that with very high intentions last year, because I know we're in this space very closely. And, I just want to be very strategic with product drops. Do I drop products silently outside my social page? Yes, absolutely. All my wholesalers know ahead of time what will be hitting the market. Will it reach my social media right away? It won't. It will take months. Listing. Yeah, it will take months. But I did that last year just because I didn't want to give my my competition.
Yeah, I mean, keep that edge.
Room. Yeah, a room to kind of like reinvent the wheel. I didn't want them to do that.
No, that's smart business. That's smart business execution right there. But it is a realistic threat that a lot of us have. I, share too much, but I mean, I do. And I know people pick stuff off, but I'm not in the space. I'm not as good as a designer and product lines as you have, but that is something that someone like you does need to be aware of.
I do like to shop. If I'm in a pinch, I do like to shop and support other designers out there. I'm not against that. And so if you're in a pinch, use them and see, what they have. I know we're in this group. There's so many groups and so many people sharing. It's so great to see. It's just everything.
You got to protect your business. At the end of the day, this is fun. All these groups are, but you're running a business.
Well, the thing
is, just like Disney smacking heads the other day we were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that. So anyway, when you're looking at it on your news feed, all my friends are seeing what I'm seeing. And so when you see a sponsored ad pop up and it's a lasered item, I know one of my friends will probably order from them. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to be worried about it. Maybe it's a good deal. Good for them. Yeah. I like finding deals too. And so I think you need to take a step back and see, okay, if this maker is doing something great, what is it? Like, what's their secret sauce? Don't go asking them. of course they're not going to share it with you. And
Yeah.
I think it's tacky when you ask another maker, like, hey, where'd you get that? On
Yeah.
their business page. Don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Business etiquette. So we're about 5 minutes out. I'd like to run about an hour, but Matt, is there any of these
I got
quadrants
this.
that you want to share a little bit? Any highlights
Yep.
here?
So I think a lot of what May and you've said, I share in. My big thing, my strength is schools. I mean, seeing as how I'm a teacher and I work with schools all the time, that's been one of my biggest strengths and getting that network going. Having a crew or a network, like you guys said, is a big strength. Like I've got the Laser Everything group and I've got you guys. And when I got sick, one of the first things Alisha and May both said is like, can you fulfill your orders? If not, we got you, which was really cool. Like that was nice to be on my deathbed knowing that someone would help me out if I needed it because it was bad. The versatility this year, the UV CO2, the upping production and workflow, being a people person. Just go out and have a drink and talk to these people who run these establishments, guys. And if you don't think you're brave enough, have two drinks, right? And then just like one of the biggest jobs I got a couple of years ago was because I had two beers and two beers deep. I said, these glasses look like shit. And the guy goes, what? He goes, you think you could do better? And I said, yes, I absolutely could. And I got like a $500 order that night for having a beer.
Sweet.
So, be willing to try new things is one of my things. Like I'm doing my first airplane panel in a week. Never done one of those, but the guy sent me some mock-up material and I knocked it out. Learning to say no this year has been pretty good for me. Like I've told people I can't do it for that price. Sometimes it's not even saying no, I can't do the job. It's just I need to raise my price.
Yeah.
So those are my strengths this year. Weakness, one man shop. I really want to get like one of my former students or somebody who's like around 19 or 20 because that's a good age. They've got a lot of flexibility and they're very smart people and they learn technology so fast. So I really want to try and get like a shop helper. Time management is a weakness, online presence. Like you guys have said, I gotta like people know me from the groups and everything, but that doesn't really make me money, you know?
Right.
So like I need to get my website being useful and I've got an idea for it though. The cost this year was a weakness. Everything went up and I didn't adjust prices quick enough. And that was a big weakness for me. And that was part of me learning to say no. And then photography. Jesus, I suck at photography. I need to learn to do better. Like May sends me like her garbage pictures. I'm like, how did you do that? How did you do that? And she's like, that was just on the kitchen counter. And I'm like, so I suck. Opportunity, go to coaches meetings, guys. If you're someone who has an in with your athletic boosters, go to coaches meetings and pitch your stuff. Like I've made more money from my school this year by taking a 10-minute window at the beginning of the year and passing out a flyer and sending out an email with all my information on it. It's been really lucrative. Getting a Rotoboss low roller, I'm really excited about getting one of those to up my UV outage. And then festivals, farmers markets, local businesses are all opportunities this year that I'm going to be hitting on because now I can, if someone says I need 100 of those, I can do it in like a weekend. And then finally, the threats are my time management, the growth that's happening. Like I need to be able to keep up with it. And then just like May said, having that funk at the beginning of the year. So I've been trying to get out here in the physical space and by doing stuff, kick that funk and just start thinking about next year and going. Boom.
Yeah.
Done.
Now, I appreciate you guys both sharing those. And this has been kind of a great example for other people to hear, what other makers, as they walk around the wheel, what that likely is. And this exercise, I encourage everyone to do it. You can be super detailed about it, but the one thing you need to really do is be very objective about it. Like if you're going to look at, hey, some of my products weren't that great, some of them did suck, right? They didn't sell. So really take that lens and zoom in on yourself and your products and give yourself that harsh critical feedback. Guarantee you, if you do this exercise and then step out and look at it and say, what should I change about my business? It will make large improvements in your business and you'll see those returns. So we're going to stop at that today. Do your SWOT analysis. The next live stream, we'll talk about now that you've done it, what actions do you need to start taking and how to break that apart. So any closing comments from you, either Matt or May, for today?
It's just so nice to, be able to chat about what you guys have learned from last year and what you guys are going to be doing for this year. I value your expertise in so many different aspects as a maker, and it's nice that we can powwow as a laser friend. I feel like I've grown, and I've expanded, not because I was doing this on my own. It's because of you guys, and because of everybody in the community helping and chiming in. And so I feel like I'm a better person and a better maker because of you guys and all the other people in our group that are super helpful and just great.
Appreciate that. What about you, Matt?
I was going to say I'm really looking forward to using this to actually do something with it. Like I really
Yeah.
want to take action and grow this year. Like I want this to be my last year teaching, maybe.
Yeah.
And actually do this.
You
So
can do it,
make
Matt.
the jump.
Yeah.
We'll see. So
So
that's
very
it.
good.
And I think
Yeah.
with everything we do in here and all the discussions we have, I think
Yeah.
it can happen.
Well, if you need
Awesome.
if you need us to kind of like look at something or bounce ideas, we're here.
I think it might be good for us three to do our SWOTs and then share them with each other.
Yeah.
And then we can have a discussion. So,
Yeah.
All right. So listen, I appreciate everybody attending today. It's an hour's worth. So we're going to put it up on YouTube, and then we're going to turn it into a podcast. And we'll continue to have this conversation on the Laser Lounge Facebook group. And so any questions you have, please ask them in this chat, and we'll try to get them answered for you. And I want to thank our sponsors today, Thunder Laser USA and Rotoboss Rotary Attachments. We appreciate all the support that you guys do for us in funding some of the applications that we run here today. So you guys have a wonderful 2023. Get those SWOTs done, and we'll see you guys later. Take care.
Bye. Thanks.
See you guys.
Yeah.